It's another edition of the Bet Like Mike Show, WinDailySports.com. As you can see, I have it on the background. I finally have the background. Win Daily Sports.
Hey, I love that.
Check it all out, WinDailySports.com. Mike North, how are you? How are things going?
I feel good today. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'm 0-3 last night. You went 1-2. So, as hot as we were the last couple of weeks, it's going to happen.
Regression is always around the corner. Absolutely.
You always wait for it. I mean, yesterday, it's when you get bad teams. I mean, Seattle, they sucked. The Cardinals got their brains beat in. You had the basketball game that didn't go your way.
Yep.
So, it's just going to happen. I mean, bottom line is we make no apologies because we don't ask for any thanks where we end up going like 10 of 14 like we did recently. But I'm 2-6 my last 4 days. What I like to do is tell everybody what we're doing and how we're doing. And right now we just got to get a winner today. The board to me, John, is not that good today.
It's ugly.
We'll talk some basketball first. We got 3 topics as we usually do. Check the banner, everybody. Make sure that you go to WinDailySports.com and follow Johnny Jansen at JJansen34 and yours truly, North to North. So we're having some fun today. First thing I want to tell you is that I had the Milwaukee Bucks minus the 8 yesterday. They did me no favors, to be honest with you. Bottom line is that they looked like they were just going through the motions to me, and they let Trae Young do whatever he wanted to.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. I know maybe, the first game against a team that you can, you have to have a feeling out process, but they've watched the Hawks the first 2 rounds stop Trae Young. That's it. The Sixers learned that after the first half in game 1. Why does it take the Bucks game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals to figure out, hey, maybe we should use all of our resources, all of our effort on stopping that one guy? I want to find out.
I want to find out why Lopez and the centers and Antetokounmpo, they're backing up as they leave him a wide open spot around the free throw line with a couple feet either way that he can do whatever he wants and just shoot that floater, and they're backing up. Step up to the guy. If he gets around you, you're big enough to come back and maybe block the shot. I could not understand how the one guy you got to stop.
Yep.
And by the way, Trae Young's better than I ever thought he was going to be. Let me just go off the record on that. This kid's terrific. He shows up to play every game, busts his tail. Could he have lasted in the old days? Well, it ain't the old days. It's the new days. And you got to give them credit. And you know what? Middleton, I mean, you don't know what he's going to do every night. He's come through with some big games. The supporting cast for is second only to Aaron Rodgers' supporting cast, I guess, if you're going to talk about that same state, John.
Yeah, and I think Trae Young pretty much fits the mold of the perfect NBA guard, or what an NBA guard should look like in today's NBA. He wouldn't last in any other era. This guy, no. I don't even think is... I don't think he has Steph Curry type talent, but it's just that this guy is what exactly a modern guard should be. A primary ball handler, can shoot from anywhere on the floor and can get in there and use the spacing, get into the middle of the floor and get that little floater shot in. It works perfectly. And the Sixers were able to beat it with a lot of length and a lot of defensive effort. The Bucks have length, but they just let him roam around freely, and I don't get that. That's the part I don't get.
Yeah, I don't understand how they got away with that or how he got away with that last night. It's one of those deals where you can't let him control the basketball game when you got the 2-time MVP on that floor at home. I think it was a bad loss for them. Atlanta's already done what they want to do, but they're going for the jugular. I think that, Nate McMillan, I always liked his coaching, but there's no doubt when they fired the other coach that, I remember people going, well, they didn't give him enough of a chance. No, they weren't listening to him. He had no cachet. Nate McMillan comes in, changes the rotation, changes the defense. But the thing that Nate McMillan does is he has cachet. And it seems like he's put in a system where Herter and these other guys are perfect. I mean, you don't know Herter last. Do I think they take some ridiculous shots sometimes? Absolutely. But taking ridiculous shots is their forte.
Right. And yeah, with the NBA the way it is, if you are able to make 3-point shots the way they can, and you catch fire during the playoffs, then you can go as almost as far as you can shoot. And right now the Hawks are shooting well. They didn't have to shoot too well against the Sixers because the Sixers could not shoot at all to save their lives. So that series, I think they got past a little bit of the problems they had from downtown, but this game 1 series, Trae Young was all over him. I mean, absolutely all over him.
Let's move to Phoenix tonight. Now, I looked at the line. I know Kawhi Leonard's not playing. Phoenix Suns are -1 right now against the LA Clippers. I'm looking at this game tonight. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I know it's a limited board today. You don't know what's going to happen anymore in the NBA. It used to have a little bit more form than it does. I'm pleased to announce the ratings are up. I understand everybody was talking about COVID last year and everything else, but I got to be honest.
It makes it a lot better with fans in the stands. It really does. It makes a world of difference.
And I'll also say this: I think having Phoenix and Atlanta in is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think people are dog tired of LeBron. I think they're dog tired of LeBron.
Even Golden State. I mean, Golden State was there for how many years? Right. I think they were tired of seeing LeBron versus Golden State.
And I'm glad the big boys lost Brooklyn. I didn't want to see them get in. Yeah. So, I mean, it's good to see they're up like 38%. People are tuning in. I think this tells Madison Street, hey, you know what? People are tired of the same old, same old. There has always, to me, been – I'll never forget what Don King told to me. He was one of these guys where David – if you can get a David that can beat Goliath, that means more than almost anything else, except when he told me black versus white in boxing equals green. If he could find a great white contender against a black guy contender, it was gold, okay? And I look at this as good for the NBA right now, that you got some new stars, a new generation. The kids seem to like these guys, Devin Booker and Trae Young. You sort of like them because they're little, and you can't dislike a little guy in a big man's game.
Yeah, it's just changed to a very guard-heavy league, and we're seeing probably a result of that with Devin Booker and Trae Young basically dominating the NBA playoffs. And we saw that a little bit last year with Damian Lillard too, in the bubble and all that. But yeah, it's really exciting that we do have these young guards that are taking over the league. The way, look, Seth Curry started, to me, I keep saying Seth.
He started it.
Steph Curry, to me, started it all. He's the one who made it. Yes, he changed the game. And now it's, can we find something similar to Steph Curry? Now, Devin Booker's a little bit different in a way. He's a 6'5" shooting guard. I think a little bit bigger, can drive into the lane, with a little bit more physicality than Steph can. But the thing is, it's a version of Steph Curry, the same way Trae Young is.
He changed the game. Not LeBron.
Absolutely.
LeBron played bully ball. That's it. Not that he's taking nothing away.
LeBron had to change with the game, which is a fascinating evolution in itself. But yes, he never changed the game at nearly as much.
The comparison, the reason Jordan is the greatest, maybe, that people have ever seen, is because I can't imagine another player coming in and winning 3 titles while Jordan was there. See, and that happened to LeBron. This kid changed the game. He made the 3 prevalent. He's made old school guys like me not that happy because there's totals sometimes that are mind-boggling. 235, 227 and a half. I mean, those were all-star game numbers back in the day. But you cannot deny, John, he's the single biggest influence in basketball the last 10 years, I think. Over anybody.
Absolutely. I would say so. He's extended the 3-point. I mean, the 3-point line itself hasn't extended, but he's extended the range of the 3-point line. Not just, hey, you got to be right outside of it and, make sure you have this good wide open shot. No, if you're across the half court line and you're at the logo, it's an open shot, and for him to change the game to where this is just a game full of spacing, and there is the floor extends all the way now to the half court line, and to see the spacing the way the NBA game is now, it's remarkable, and it's all because of Steph Curry to me.
All right, let's move on to the NBA draft lottery. Why is everybody infatuated with this? I mean, you know what? I mean, I heard somebody say that should be a 2-hour special. I didn't watch 1 second of it. I'm going to tell you something. I can't even imagine. I mean, people are upset because the Bulls made that trade. Now they'd end up getting no first-round draft pick. The problem is, I heard somebody say to me that it's 5 deep. I know you don't know what a great draft is, folks. The great drafts happened in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s before this nonsense of one and done and all this other crap started permeating. I think the lottery should be exactly where it's at, as halftime entertainment or a pregame type of situation. What's your take on that? Like
the NBA draft only matters for loser franchises, and the Sixers are one of them. They really were. And we threw celebrations, we threw watch parties when the Sixers were doing NBA draft lotteries, and look where the Sixers ended up. We're a loser franchise. So yeah, it's a loser
franchise because your guy Daryl Morey said 26 teams would like to be in our position. Now
they maybe would, but that doesn't mean the Sixers are any better for what they did or for all of that. No, and some of these franchises will come out of it and will become great, but or some of them, there's a chance that they come out of it great. But yeah, the only reason you watch the NBA draft lottery is because your team stunk, and
it's a joke. Yeah. It's a joke.
I don't like it
because you know what? And the draft is not even. I remember when the draft was 20 players deep. They were all 4-year players. I remember that. Oh, what do you think about the 30th pick? He's a no-brainer. I mean, you can't say that now about the first 5 guys. I mean, even Fultz, your guy Fultz. Markel Fultz. They were predicting that this guy was unbelievable. D'Angelo, what was that kid's name? The kid that went to Brooklyn from Michigan University. I forget his name. But all these guys, they're projects, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham may be good. Okay, fine. They didn't go too much. People picked Oklahoma State because of him, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, kid's really good though. I love Cade Cunningham. I think he is a little bit of a Luka Doncic mold, which is obviously something worth I think considering now that looking what Luka did during the playoffs against the Clippers. But yeah, it's a very unpredictable player pool. Like the Sixers this year got a really good rookie with the 21st overall pick, but it was just shot in the dark and just teams pass. It's really unpredictable. Like Steph Curry.
Unless you have, John, a couple of European experts, when your draft has a lot of Europeans and you have American former players or jocks on the air stating an opinion about nobody they've seen except on some tape.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's changed about the draft. When Luka Doncic got taken, who the hell's this guy? Who the hell's this guy? I remember Dirk Nowitzki, true story. Me and my buddy go to a restaurant. Dirk Nowitzki gets drafted. I tell my buddy, this is the truth. I said, there's the phone. It's Jason. Get to the pick.
Yeah.
No. That
is perfect timing. I don't know who called, but that is perfect timing.
It's Phoebe. Time to bring some water in. Bring some water in from the garage. All I'm going to tell you is when Dirk Nowitzki got drafted, he was like 17 years old, 18. I told my buddy someday he'll be one of the top 10 players in the game. He goes, it's a black man's game. He won't be anything. He weighed about 170 pounds or 180 pounds when he got drafted. Let me tell you something, one of the greatest players of all time. But we don't know that much about European players. I remember Tony Kukoc. We heard about him, but we didn't know how great he was going to actually be.
Yeah, and I think because of even college now, players opting to stay out of it. Like somebody like LaMelo Ball, who had an excellent season. It was hard to predict because there were a lot that said he's a number 1 overall pick, and some said that he's going to be a huge bust just because nobody saw him at a competition level that they were, I guess they knew about. Like college basketball, we know, if a guy looks okay against these kind of teams, this kind of game, then we know how we can evaluate them. But LaMelo Ball was in Lithuania or whatever playing basketball. Nobody knew how to evaluate that. And it turned out that this kid is a tremendous NBA player.
I think the fact that our players aren't coached as well as the international players and they don't get developed as early as them. I mean, when you think Doncic was a 15-year-old in the pros already, playing pro ball. I mean, we question a guy going to the G League. Should he go to school or should he go to the...
Right.
These guys go pro when they're 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah, it's weird that the NBA is still kind of like that, because there are... I mean, it's the same thing as like soccer. Some of these kids are pros, not at the top level, but at some kind of pro level at the age of like 15 or 16. Okay. And so, yeah, I definitely could see these kids doing that very soon.
Well, you know, I used to be known as a guy that was really one of the tops in the game. But when you handicap and you win, you are. But when you go 2-6 your last 4 days, you aren't. Well, we've all been there, folks. It happens. I only got one game for today. This is our pick segment, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to follow Win Daily. Don't forget to follow Johnny. Don't forget to follow me. Don't forget to follow people. That's it. And you're going to get all your information. John does about 100 shows on this station. And you also got all sorts of great characters on here. You got some great cappers. So it's a great thing. So, John, I don't know how many games you have tonight. I only have one, so I'd like you to lead off.
Yeah, I'm going to go with kind of a big dog. And there's not really, a slam dunk play here or a great play on the slate.
Go right one unit for me tonight.
Yeah, I just... The Twins aren't good, so when I see them as a minus 180, I don't care who the pitcher is. Minus 180 that's a huge number. And look, the Twins have been winning as of late, but I mean, if we're just gonna, I think 31-40 speaks for itself more than anything. And to get that at plus 148, I'm going to take my shot here on Cleveland at plus 148.
Yeah, they're up to like 160. And if you played a 10-cent line, 170, because Minnesota's minus 185.
Yeah, it is.
At 175 at some other place here. So you're going to take, I mean, really, it takes a lot of guts, okay, to bet over 160 in anything. I mean, thank God here. Here's where you win by not making a move. Some nights you win, folks, by not betting. When you say, I would have lost that game, that's a win for you. For instance, I'll give you a perfect example. I told John yesterday, I said, you know what? I might take Milwaukee on the money line. They're like minus 345, right? Yesterday night, I put Milwaukee in, minus the 8. I go, that's too steep. If I take the money line, I'm down another $345. I won by not actually taking that money line. And that tells you how crippling a money line can be to somebody when it's that high. It's the NBA, folks, and it's the playoffs. These teams can play. All right, so I'm going to go with, you got the Cleveland Indians. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates on the run line, plus 1.5, minus 145. I know, it's Pittsburgh. It's Texas. My system gives me some teams that just aren't supposed to win. But as you know, in baseball, just like John is hoping tonight, what happens with his pick, you win 60 games at least. It's what you do with the other 42. 60 wins, 60 losses. It's not like the NFL where you can go a whole season and win only one game. I like Pittsburgh with Chad Kuhl going against Carlos Martinez. Martinez, like you said about a week or two ago, John, he's not that good. Okay, so why do I feel this kid will become Bob Gibson today when he pitches against me? I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'm going to take the Dodgers on the run line. It's not too much. It's minus 117. So look, it's a little juiced up for a team that has to win by 1.5 runs.
Walker Buehler's been good.
He's been great. He's 7-0 this season, ERA of 2.38. But he is actually, the Dodgers have covered in 7 of the last 8 games that he's pitched. So this guy has obviously been tremendous for them, and they've given him run support. And look, I think they're going to take out all of their frustrations about losing and getting swept to the Padres on the Cubs today. Zach Davies is a perfect pitcher too for them to just absolutely tee off on. I think the Dodgers still got a lot of frustrations, and I think Buehler pitches an outstanding game, and I think they cover. So I'll take the Dodgers on the run line, 1.5.
Well, on the run line is minus 1.5, minus 125, my friend. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Because
they've just been doing it lately. Yep.
You don't want to take the money line at minus 260.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No. You can't. That's way too high, and it's way too much of a risk to do
anymore because I only got the one game.
I will take.
Look at you. I love it.
I'll take DeAndre Ayton over 15.5 again. Let me check his points, rebounds, and assists before I do that, because if I can get it at least a pretty good price for the points, rebounds, and assists, I'll
What do
take
you
it.
have to have? 38, 39 total, 40?
It's 26.5 again, minus 139.
Wow.
I'll take that. That's exactly where it was for the past 2 games, and he hit the over easily. So I'll take DeAndre Ayton over 26.5. They have nobody that can stop
him. On the points, assists, and rebounds.
Yep, for Ayton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You got our picks. Tread carefully. So long, everybody.